Hey, welcome back to the Johnny Says E-Bike channel. I'm Jersey John, and today I want to talk to you about tires. So recently I had to buy some new tires, 26x4 fat tires for my custom build that I'm doing with this 1,000-watt Bafang motor behind me. So I'm out there looking for tires. I see the Juggernauts, which I have on my mid-drive, and they only have 125 miles on them. They're $115. I'm like, okay, what else is out there? I have them. They're okay. I find these Mohegias, okay, they're $41, $45, depends on if they're on sale or not. And they're on Amazon. Link's going to be in the description. And I wanted to know what's the difference between the Juggernauts and the Mohegia. So I compare the descriptions and I see one has 30 TPI, one has 60 TPI. My first inclination is more is better, right? Higher the number, the better it's got to be. But what I didn't want to get was a tire with weak, thin, flimsy sidewalls. So I thought, you know what, let me spend 15, 20 minutes, do a little research, find out what the heck's a TPI. So I look it up, it's threads per inch. So one has 30, one has 60. And to give you a comparison, these road bikes with these tiny little tires have upwards of 300 threads per inch. So they're going to have to be like microfibers to fit in that little tire. Now, 60 threads per inch obviously are going to be way bigger tire. Now, 30 threads per inch, that means it's going to be the biggest fibers. And what I found was the bigger the fiber, the beefier the tire, the heavier the tire will be. So I thought, okay, more is not better. I went with the 30 TPI. So what I want to do is compare the Juggernauts with the Mohegias and see, is it worth spending that much more money on a tire? And is the TPI going to make a big difference as far as being lower? Okay. So I'm going to put these things, I'm going to unfold them, put them on a rim, and then compare them side by side. So when the tires came, they were basically folded up in two, which I thought was a good sign because a lot of times these things will basically come folded up into a tight little ball, right? So we're going to get these, pop them open. And what I like to do when I get a new tire, you're going to have all these creases, right? You're going to have all these creases where the folds are. I want to make sure this tire sits in the bead really nice. The bead sits in. So, you got this edge like this, right? So what do? I want to shape it. That's what I call it anyway. I'll stick a old inner tube inside there, put some air in it, and then I'll get some heavy rubber bands. I'll cut them, and wherever the creases are, I'm going to tie a rubber band around it. And like I said, this is what I call, I'm going to shape my tire. And I'm going to put these rubber bands where the creases are. I'll just do two just to show you. And I'll do one more on this bad boy. This looks pretty creased. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this tight around the tube. And I'm going to get this, and then I'm going to set it in the sun for a little bit. All right, and that'll help this bead fall nice into the rim. All right, so I'm going to shape it like this and throw it on a rim, and then I'm going to put it side by side with the Juggernauts and see what the difference is with the tread. I let this tire sit out in the sun after putting my rubber bands on, and you can just see how nice the bead looks. It looks proper. Okay, so it's nice and straight and clean and ready to go on the rim. Let's see how it looks. So now I have the Juggernauts and the Mohegias side by side. Let's take a closer look at the tread and see whose are thicker. So we go with the Juggernauts first. You can see these treads, they're very nice, but they're not very thick. Now we go over to the Mohegia. Look how thick these things are. They're twice the depth of the Juggernauts. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to last longer. So after about 500 miles, I'm going to do an update, and we're going to look at these tires and see who wore it better. All right, so there you have it. The Mohegia tires, side by side with the Juggernauts. Be sure to check back because down the road, pun intended, I'm going to be doing an update on the wear of these treads and whether or not I'm getting flats with these tires, okay? And now be sure to check out the links in the descriptions because I have links for the tires with Amazon, and I also have links to the TPI descriptions. Remember, just because that's what Johnny says doesn't mean it's right for you. So I put the links and the information out there so you could decide what's best for you. All right, so I hope you learned something. I hope I helped you out. Click like, click subscribe. And when people ask you, hey, where'd you learn that? Make sure you tell them that's what Johnny says.